Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Thursday afternoon to you all, and happy Thursday to all of you, my fellow European trophy winners. Obviously, last night was magical. It was fantastic, and it's something that I'll never forget. But we kind of now, in a weird way, we do now need to sort of start to think about what is the after effects of winning this trophy yesterday. And I'm still riding the high, and I'm not gonna there's not going to be negativity as such. There's not really going to be a chat about managers next season or anything like that. It's more like looking at the financial effects of this Europa League campaign, looking at the financial effects of all the things that come with it, and how Spurs could be gearing up for a really big summer. And you'll see what I mean when I get to it. And again, this isn't going to be a situation where we sit here and we bellyache about Daniel Levy and oh, do I like Ange? Do I Ange say? It's not about that. It's just more the financial side of things. Afternoon Spurs and Sonia, Steve and Jake and EZ Adventurous. How old? How old? How are we all? Adventurous hasn't been to bed yet. Bloody hell, mate. Bloody hell. Look, obviously, I was doing a bit of research into the financials of the Europa League this season. Okay, so not in terms of next season, the Champions League, just the Europa League. And I saw some conflicting numbers. Okay, to give you an idea, the conflicting numbers really are going to be somewhere around of just Europa League revenue. Okay, just the Europa League revenue, not new Champions League qualification. Okay, so just bear with me on that side of things. It's between about 26 to about 32 million pounds. Okay, that's the revenue from prize money of this Europa League run, which is fantastic. I think there's so much from that we can. I think there's so much that we can take from that this time, Milan and Chris, how are we? Hawkeye, how are we? It's in the terms of world football. I mean, think of it as 30 million. That's Archie Gray, basically. I know Joe Roden being a part of that deal, hence why I say it's 30 million. That's what Archie Gray is, about 30 million, which is mental to think about. But obviously, that doesn't that factors in, by the way, things like winning of games, qualifications, things like that. And it's somewhere within that mark. Now, it doesn't take into account TV dealings and things like that. Hence why, they talked about this magical £100 million, game that was last night that we won. It does take into account just winning of games as well, though. So it's about let's call it 28 million, 29 million, something like that you're going to make from just prize money. Now, obviously, the TV partnerships, the sponsorship revenue that you make from, extra games, but, European eyes for AIA and any sponsorships that we have who are going to get eyes from Europe they pay more, basically. You always pay more the more you're in Europe, but obviously the better the competition, the more that you can charge as a club. Obviously, the more revenue you get, therefore, the more you can spend on your transfers, or in Spurs' case, building go-kart tracks and a hotel. That's a joke. Calm down. So there's that. Now, looking into a little bit more about some revenue, I was looking at the Champions League side of things in terms of qualifying for Champions League. But the Champions League total prize pot is 2.06 billion. That's crazy. But every team who qualifies for the league phase, and not the teams that go through qualifying phases themselves, it's just qualifying for the league phase. Okay, doesn't matter about results. You earn 15.7 million. So now you're well into 43, 44 million pounds. In terms of if you were to win games in the Champions League, every win you get in the league phase earns 1.8 million. So this season, Spurs, I believe, won 5 Europa League games. They drew a game and lost the other 2. If that's the case, Spurs would make 9 million on winning of games in the Champions League, with an extra 590,000 on a draw. Call it 9.6 million they would make on just the league phase of having that success. if you finish inside the top 8, the higher up you go, obviously, the more money you make. But 1.7 million is given to each team. So, for example, Liverpool finished top, earned 8.4 million for finishing top, and Arsenal, who finished third, got 7.9 million. Obviously, then you include their wins and things like that. So, obviously, I know it's a lot of numbers, and I know it's a financial thing, and I know it's maybe a little bit boring after yesterday. You want me still to be probably fairly drunk and all those things. I think it's fascinating that you can now look at the summer transfer window and go, there's an opportunity here to start spending some money, in terms of good money, because the revenue you get, we talk about, hey, you qualify for the Champions League, you make 16 million, you make all this money from the Europa League. The TV money is scary in the Champions League. The sponsorships amount that you can charge is crazy money in the Champions League. Spurs are set to make some serious money in the Champions League. They really are. And in turn, that allows you to spend on players. It does. Now, do you or how you do it is obviously up to how you go about it, but it gives you the affordability on paper to do such a thing. Marshall, how are you, mate? MS, how are you? Steampunk, Joshua, how are we? Which I think is fascinating. I really, really do think it's fascinating. Now, there is also a small matter of a UEFA Super Cup as well, a game that Spurs will take place in versus either the winner of Inter Milan or PSG, who we find out this weekend. Just looking at the year that happens, the game that happened at the start of this season, which was Real Madrid versus Atalanta. Both made 4 million euros for just being there. For playing the game, they made 4 million euros. The winner gets an extra 1 million. So the winner basically makes 5 million euros for that one game. Now, again, on top of that, you charge sponsorships, you charge, all those things. That's a nice little revenue pot. And also, it's an opportunity to win another trophy as well. And look, I wouldn't want to, I don't know out of the two teams who I'd rather face. I think they're both fantastic teams. I won't worry about it until we play them, which is, I believe, August, September time. But it is another windfall. It's another pot of money that you're going to make. Yes, it's another opportunity that you can to win a trophy as well. And it's winning the UEFA Super Cup is a trophy to me in terms of you're playing you're the Europa League winner, you're playing the Champions League winner. That's not some average old game, right? You're two European champions facing off to be the champions completely of Europe, I don't know what the scoreline was in the Real Madrid-Atalanta game. I assume Real Madrid won that, but, I could be wrong. Eves, mate, how are you? Kieran, how are you? And yeah, I'm looking forward to the Super Cup. It will be the first time, well, especially in my lifetime, we'll have played in the Super Cup, and I'm looking forward to it. And Inter and PSG, I assume, are probably looking forward to it just as much as we are. Obviously, they've got to win to get there, though. We're already there. We're kicking back. We're on the beach going, come on, lads. Which one is it? Get off the boat. Join me on shore, So, look, it's another opportunity for a windfall. The money you're going to make, we talk about, about 30 million on the Europa League. You get an extra 15.7 million for Champions League qualification. Maybe an extra 5 for winning the Super Cup is 50 million pounds. Forget the TV revenue, forget all those things. Just on prize money, 50 million pounds. It's scary how much money is in football nowadays. That's scary how much money is in football. Now, obviously, the lower that you finish in a league, the less money you make. But trust me, Spurs have made up for that and then some. And by what I mean by and then some, I mean by quite a considerable amount. They have absolutely made up for it and then some. And Daniel Levy's going to be a happy man. Okay. By the way, we will be talking about the parade as well. I will give you some updates on the parade. There has been notification that we know what the parade looks like. Steve, if you're on Google, can you tell me the result of the Real Madrid-Atalanta game for the Super Cup this season, please? Thank you very much. The Contrarian, how are you, my friend? Please share MS. Yeah, smash the like. I always appreciate anyone that likes the videos is an absolute legend. It helps the algorithm. It helps people see the channel and subscribe. And I think we're near 3,800 now, which is pretty damn cool. Nico Ravella, yeah, I know about him. Did Sonny miss the flight this morning? Oh, I missed it. I missed it. I probably would have missed it, to be fair. And I'm going to see if I can convince my sister to take me down tomorrow. Yeah, oh mate, honestly, if you're going to be, if any of you are going to be at parade tomorrow, I would love to see you. We'll have a beer. You know, I know I'm a fitness professional, but sometimes you've got to just park it for a reason. But yeah, I'd love to see if you are going to be at the parade, anyone. But we'll talk about it in a second. Who would have thought we got a trophy 2 months ago? Absolutely. So look, the windfall from winning the Europa League is massive. Okay, it's not like the Champions League. The Champions League winners get a lot more, but winning the Europa League is massive. The Super Cup potential, you're going to get an extra 4 million for the Super Cup regardless, but you could make an extra million on top from winning it. Again, TV revenue, sponsorships, all those things, you can charge that a little bit more. You can say, hey, we're going to be in a Super Cup. That's an extra game in Europe against a champion of Europe. A lot of people are going to watch that. Hundreds of millions of people are going to watch it. Let's bump up that price a little bit. We're going to be in Champions League. Let's bump up that price a little bit. You know, all those things that go into it. Daniel Levy gets to come to the table and speak to sponsors and go, we need to double that. We need to do this. We need to do that, because he's going to have the power, because teams want to sponsor teams in Europe. Now, teams really want to sponsor teams in the Champions League because there's where the most eyes are. You know, you playing, let's say, who's a fair team to sort of say? Let's say Villarreal next season. Okay, let's say we draw Villarreal next season in the Champions League. I haven't got a clue who's going to be in it, but Villarreal look like they're going to make it from La Liga. You are going to get eyes from Villarreal fans, from Spurs fans, from the odd person who stick it on, from here, there, and everywhere across the world. You can market your company to those people who may have never heard you, and it's invaluable. And those are things that go into it, you know. Singularity, how are you? Look, I'm going to speak about Ange being here or leaving for the season ahead. Well, let's talk about it on Monday. We can do a whole review of the league, a season, and things like that. We'll talk about it on Monday, all right? Yeah, honestly, I don't know how many people watched the Super Cup. If anyone does want to do that research for me, how many viewers the Super Cup kind of got as an idea, you can market that to companies, okay? So look, what that means for Spurs is going into the summer. Now, Man United, I can't explain their finances to you, but I can sum up really quickly going into the season, next season. They are screwed. They need to sell academy trained players for financial fair play. So Kobe Mainu and Garnacho. And by the way, Garnacho has been vocal after the game yesterday. He is not a happy bunny. He did say Christian Romero is the best centre back in the world, so don't forget that. But they would need to sell academy players for financial fair play. Now we were in the benefit. We wouldn't have needed to. Financial fair play wise, we're in a really good, strong position. They do. They also still need to sell players to generate revenue to then be able to buy players. So if they want to buy Mateus Cunha, apparently that's what they need to do. It may not be exactly like that, but you get an idea of how knackered they are. Hence why winning yesterday would have been massive for Man United, and it would have maybe given the opportunity to have a big summer. Now, this summer, I don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and what they're going to do. Sorry, how they're going to go about it. For us, the money's there. The money is there to spend this summer. The opportunity is going to be there. How we go about it is obviously a different story. We can talk a little bit about the summer and what it might look like in a minute, but the money will be there to spend. Okay, you're going to have Champions League money. You're going to have revenue from the Europa League. You're going to have bigger sponsorship deals. You're going to have all those things. The Super Cup. You're going to have all those things that go into it. That's why the Champions League is everything to these sort of clubs. That's why Villa, who spends like 97 odd % of their revenue they make on players' wages, because they're just, so the idea is, and this is what they, and the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles do this massively, to give you an idea. You borrow from the future for the now, right? And Villa, the idea is they want to borrow from the future for the now, right? And the idea is you get the success now, make the Champions League, that you can keep the future away, right? For the Philadelphia, it's a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult. But, for Villa, that's massive. For Newcastle, it's massive. I mean, looking at the Premier League table, so to give you an idea, I know it's not us, for example, to give you an idea, the top five get Champions League football this season. So Liverpool and Arsenal will be in the Champions League next season. It's guaranteed. Now, between Manchester City and Nottingham Forest is 3 points. So that includes Newcastle, Chelsea, and Aston Villa. To give you an idea, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Villa are all on 66 points. Villa needs some help because Villa's goal difference is quite considerably worse than both of those teams, okay? And also, Forest is better goal difference than Villa. So if Forest were to get a draw and Villa to lose at the weekend, Forest would actually drop out, Villa would drop out of the 6th spot into 7th, okay? Just to give you an idea. But for Chelsea, it's huge, right? They're going to go from this season getting Conference League revenue, and let's say they get Champions League revenue. Their revenue share and the money they're going to make is just going to leap another level. Newcastle, it's going to allow them a summer to spend. They might still sell players, but it's going to give an opportunity to spend. City need it because obviously they've got huge revenue costs. Huge revenues needed because of quite large costs. And Villa, they could really do it at Villa. This season would have made a huge difference for their financial fair play due to the Champions League money and obviously getting through and beating, was it Club Brugge, I think it was, in the first knockout round, and then obviously losing to PSG in the next round. Loads of money made there. That's why they want to get back in. So for Spurs, okay, yes, we snuck in the back door. I get that. But you are in there. And I looked at yesterday as we won the trophy and I reveled in the marvel of winning the trophy. But now it's about financially, what about the summer? Okay. Scott, mate, how are you? Nikhil, how are you, mate? Callum Roach. Simo, mate, how are you? The summer's going to be an interesting one. Okay. And look, we know there's going to be some players leaving because contracts are finishing or loan deals are ending. So Sergio Reguilon, Timo Werner, Fraser Force is probably going to be gone. Let's see what happens with Ben Davies, Basuma, Romero, Bentancur. Let's see what happens do we keep Tell? Do we not keep Tell? There's a lot of question marks in there, right? There's a lot of question marks. And you're gonna move off of players anyway, and you're gonna free up squad spots, and you might sell. Well, you're gonna get money for Pierre Højbjerg. His deal becomes obligated this summer to Marseille, so we're gonna make some money there. Manuel Solomon, Brian Hill. You're gonna free up some money by moving off of some of these players, right? And then in turn, obviously, you might move off you don't know what's gonna happen with Biss and Bentancur and Richarlison. And Davies, who might be a sale potentials. Romero, you don't know what's going to happen with him in the summer. All I'm going to say is, if you're a fan of Romero and hope he stays, last night would have given you more of a chance because he wants Champions League football. He wants to win things. Well, last time I checked, the Europa League is a trophy, and the benefit of winning that trophy also gives you Champions League football. It's a 2-in-1, 2 birds, 1 stone. But there's obviously that potential that you're gonna be moving off some of those players, and it happens. Okay, so the way I look at it from there then is, what are you gonna do this summer? Now, I have in my head an idea of what I would like Spurs to do this summer. And working from back to front is I want a left back. For 2 years, I've been crying for a new left back to help Destiny Doggy. I would like Destiny to not have to play 3 times a week. I'd love for Destiny to play once a week, get the other guy in here and help him, and the best thing is if you do that, you keep Destiny fitter. And a fit Destiny Doggy is a brilliant left back, in my opinion. And he's only going to get better this season because he's going to have a pre-season, he's going to have the tour, and he'll be able to start the season strong and not off the back of a massive quad surgery. Centre backs, obviously, Vuskovic joins us this summer. You've got Ashley Phillips. We'll see what happens with those two. I mean, Vuskovic has already talked about maybe I go out on loan. He's talked about that, which is quite fascinating. Romero, we'll see about there. Radu's back in probably the winter time. I don't think you'll be able to, even if you sell Radu, I don't think you'll be selling Radu because he won't be able to pass a medical. But obviously, we had a big bid in January rejected for Mark Guay. what happens with that? He'll have 1 year left in his contract. Do Spurs go back in there? Um, I think, right back we're settled. Spence and Porro, great. I like Kinski, Austin, and Vicario as your goalkeepers. Grand. The midfield three, um, obviously Madison, grand. Kulu, grand. Bergval and Gray, love it. Bentancur and Basuma have question marks. They have 1 year left on their contracts. If they're not signing new contracts, they're probably leaving this summer. I would expect one of them to stay. And I think Bentancur will probably be the guy that's going to stay. I thought Bisp was brilliant in the last few Europa League games, but, in his late 20s, it will probably be the right time. So there's that. And if Bentancur stays, new contract, does Cardoso come in? Obviously, we got that buy option from Betis. I don't know. But you would expect them to bring in a midfielder. Pape Matasar. Sorry, I forgot about Pape. He's obviously there. So you're going to look to bring in another midfielder at least. I wouldn't mind maybe a younger option. Is Alfie Devine that option? Is Jamie Donnelly that option? Is there someone they can use in the midfield to sort of develop like they have other players? I like that idea. In the attack, you have a lot of question marks. Is Richie staying? Sonny, he's got 1 year left on his contract. We have to see what happens there. You got Solanke. You got Jono. I like both of those guys. You got Wilson. I expect them to try and make that permanent. But again, how does that look? We'll sort of see. And Richie and Sonny, obviously, we'll have to have a look at that. But, there's guys out on loan that you're going to be moving off. But I'm just thinking about the first team. If you do move Richarlison, you're going to have to replace him. I think Son will be here. They'll go year by year with him. If he is, we'll see. But you know what I mean? I'm interested what you guys think about all that. He said, I don't mean sneaking the back door like we didn't deserve it, but you know what I mean? Like normally you do it through the automatics, right? Winning a trophy, I look at it as a back door. I look at it as a great door to go through. It's a separate door, but winning through the league is the front door. Is my point, by the way. Don't take it as I'm unhappy about it. And Michael for the super chat, absolute legend. Cheers to the happy clappers, Coys. Michael, you deserve it. You absolute bloody legend. I reckon Solomon leaves to Leeds. Yes, so we will make money out of Solomon. I think the rumor is about 14.3 and then maybe some add-ons, but that's kind of the rumor I've seen so far. Adiz, how are you, mate? Brian Hill, though, to Girona, I think you get about 7, maybe 8 million for. You won't get the 15 million buy option. But it doesn't shock me. We don't ever pick up buy options. We normally negotiate. Girona will do the same to us. Happy days. Veliz, I think Veliz might be gone in the summer. It's a shame, but you know what I mean? It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked in Spain. It's difficult. You could go for another loan to give it one more chance, but I don't know. You've got Dane. You've got Will Lancashire. You've got Melier come in. You've got so many attacking players in the setup at the moment. It's hard. I think Vic's fine for now. I'm not worried about Vic. Cherky, someone we linked to again. It depends on the manager. To be fair, like let's. Do you know what? Do you know what we should do for sake of argument? Let's just say Ange is the manager next season, because then we know what formation we're playing. So then we know what footballers would suit the formation. Follow me in a minute. I just want to read a couple more comments and then we'll talk about that. And I cannot wait to go to the barbers because my barber is a gooner. I cannot wait. That's gonna be. I'm gonna sit down and go. Don't muck my hair up. But what did you get up to on Wednesday night? Eze Boy Mercado said a quality strike will be a dream window. Aussie, mate, how are you? Aussie Ange hater. Hell of a day for you last night. Basuma's market values increased. Absolutely. It has. Eze and Monster 6 is a game changer. No, I don't want Teo Hernandez. I've never been a fan of Teo Hernandez personally. Never been a fan. No, I get what you're saying. He said. Spurs want to sign Tel. The idea is Spurs want to sign Tel, but they don't want to pick up the bar option. They want to negotiate, and I think Bayern will come to the table because they want to. Obviously, they might be moving for Florian Wirtz, so they're going to want to free up some money. I think Goretzka's on his way out. I think Kim Min Jae might be on his way out. Eric Dyer's left. Kingsley Coman's probably his way out. They want to bring down their wage bill, is what they're trying to do. Obviously, giving a new contract to Davies, and I think Sane. We'll see what happens. Sane is going on a free at the moment. Do it if you can. And do you know why? Just for Leroy Sane, he is Prem proven. He was great at City, but how the Germans commentator says his name, Leroy Sané. I'll do it. Just give me Leroy. I think he's a good player as well, which helps. He's good on the right. But yeah, DJ Matt, how are you? How am I feeling this morning? I'm feeling good. I woke up after about 4.5 hours sleep. I went to the gym and I saw my gran, and here we are. I will collapse later on today. About 7 p.m. I will be asleep. But look, in the summer, you do need to give if Ange is obviously the manager next season, right? Let's just follow me. You do now need to give him some ready to go players, because this should be the impetus to King Khan. And also, the other beautiful thing about Champions League football is players go, "Oh, you won that trophy. So one, you won a trophy, brilliant. I like winning trophies as a footballer. Two, you're in the Champions League. Yeah, I want to play in the Champions League." So when we talk about, for example, we had a bid rejected for Mark Guay in January, right? Let's say we're still interested in Mark Guay in the summer. Well, you can say to Mark Guay, "Well, we got Champions League football next year, and I know he's got Europa League through the FA Cup. We got Champions League football." Oh, yeah, okay, interesting. Oh, yeah, no, I like that. Now, there's another guy at Crystal Palace that we were linked to all of last summer. I would really, really like him to join finally. Eberechi Eze. That's the one that I really, truly want. The last 6 months of this season at Crystal Palace, he has been absolutely out of this world phenomenal. I mean, he won the FA Cup. He scored the opener to make it 1-0. He won the FA Cup for Crystal Palace. He suits the Spurs style of play. I know, yeah, I'm not saying it is, belittling Crystal Palace. Please don't think anyone to take it as I am. Flair, the confidence, all those things that Spurs fans love about their wingers, he's that. I think this is a summer that you get him. Now, the way you get him isn't to dilly-dally all summer. The way you get him is you have to go early. The reason I say that, if they sell Mark Guay, they no longer have any issues with money. They've got loads of money to spend. Therefore, that release clause of 60 million plus 8 million on add-ons, 68 million deal. And Spurs have the issue of paying that large sum up front. They want to spread it out a bit more. Palace will do it before they sell other players, because then they can start doing other things, start demanding money for elsewhere. But if they've already sold a player, like last summer, they sold Michael Olise, they no longer needed to sell. So if you wanted Eze, you had to play ball in their terms. They'll come more to the table early doors if you go early doors for him, right? I look at Eze as a 10/left winger, like I would look at Kulu as a right winger /10. Eze is a superb footballer. Very smart. He's very good at chess. He won a chess tournament the other week. So very smart, very, very good. And the beautiful thing is, when you're playing in a team where you're not the focal point and you can't hone in on him, like teams hone in on him and he still has success, you look that much better. So yeah, Eze would be fantastic for me. I would love him. Obviously, homegrown is always a thing that you can never knock. A left back is very much needed for me this season to give Destiny some support, because I look at Jed Spence as a right back, but maybe I don't know. Maybe they look at Spence as a left back, so therefore you're gonna have to get a right back. You know what I mean? You have to get a full back this summer. Centre back, they'll probably see what they have in Vuskovic. They'll probably see what they have in Phillips. Obviously, I know Radu's coming back at some point into the season. You've got Big Kev Danso as well, which I think I like Big Kev Danso. And I don't know about you, watching Big Kev Danso get subbed on yesterday, I don't know about you, I just thought he's going to stick his head on every single ball like he did against Frankfurt, isn't he? He's going to be dominant. He's going to be physical. And he was good yesterday, Danso, made no mistakes. And he came on, did his job, and he did it for the cause. And I think he will end up being a smart bit of business. Now, he financially does cost Spurs this summer. The money is spent this summer on him. So let's think about that. That plays into it as well, okay? As is marquee signing for me. It's clearly tapping up by Sonny and Matters. Do you think we'll keep Ange? I'll answer that on Monday, Eddie. Not this isn't a dig at you, Eddie, but I know a few people have asked me. I've always said let's get to the end of the season and then review. So Sunday, Brighton. If I'm honest, I probably don't see us winning that because our players are going to be hungover as hell today. Monday, let's talk and let's think about the season. Let's think about going ahead, and I think that's what the higher ups will be doing as well. Well, let's get to the end of the season. We'll talk about it. That's my thinking. Are they? As they? Oh, okay. Are they, Baz? Ghost, how are you, my friends? But look, I guess with the idea of Mark Guay is probably if you're selling Romero. That's my thinking. Peter, how are you, my friend? I gave you a shout out yesterday, Peter, on a live. I was giving shout outs to all the amazing people in the communities. Swaggy, I've missed your comment. He said, I'd take Heung-Min Jae. It's been poor. He's been really poor and underwhelming. Underwhelming at Bayern. Upamecano, maybe it's an Upamecano trajectory that, he struggled and got better. Maybe that's where they go. But we'll see. Liam, how are you, my friends? So look, there's a lot of fallout from obviously the financial side of things, but I think Spurs need to be looking at left back. They need to be looking at left back, regardless. Okay, centre back is a question mark. We'll sort of think about. The midfield will be looked at. I think you're losing a midfielder this summer. You need to replace them. It's interesting. Now, the curiosity to me is how they see Kulusevski. Because you've got Odebear who can play wing as well, right? How they view Kulusevski, I guess, would be more of a floater as a versatile option. There's obviously, there's no harm in having versatile options at the club. I'm just thinking you could do, obviously, you got Tell, Richie, all those things. You're probably going to be moving on for some of these players. I would probably say Eze would be an option as like a midfield / left winger. But that's my sort of thinking on that side of things right this second. Simo's come around. He's more ange now. There you go. That's interesting. Which changed Cunha's mind. I think Cunha wants Man United because he wants that payday. Nah. What is Richarlison's contract? Hang on. Just want to see when this thing ends. He's 28. Well, he turned 28 2 weeks ago. All right, fair enough. His contract expires in the summer of 2027. He's got 2 years left on his contract, Richie. The irony is Richie has stayed fit now for a little while. Not a massive amount, but a little while. And I think that's going to help. There you go. Yeah, Garnacho can leave Man United this summer. There you go. I wouldn't want him at Spurs, but he can go. Kobe Mainu, if they want to sell him, there's a picture of him in a Spurs outfit when he was younger. Just saying. I think Kobe in a midfield 3 at Spurs could work. I think that could work. Just saying. Who do you think we should get left back? Left back's a difficult one because look, I think Kirkes is going to be off to Liverpool. Robertson, I don't think is going to leave Fulham, and he'd cost quite a bit. He'd cost quite a sum of money, and we're not going to sign 5 players for 50 million each. You know what I mean? So I think left back's so difficult. I'll have to think about left back. I'm gonna think about left back. I'm not too sure right a second. Dorgu was someone I wanted from Manchester United. We didn't get him. I know obviously there's Bradley Locko shouts, but he obviously got himself a big injury. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Gerald Hatter. Yeah, I've seen some Hatter shouts. If Ange can miraculously turn the league position around, well, look, there's a lot that goes into that. Kobe would cost a fortune. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying. Out of Kobe or Garnacho, give me Kobe. Because I don't know if Garnacho when we look at our creativity from the left wing, I don't think Garnacho's got the creativity necessary, whereas Kobe in that midfield three could do it. Press resistant, all those things. Look at us talking about, mate. Oh, we'll have that Man United player. We'll have that Man United player. We're not getting any of them, by the way. It's just for chatter arguments, Um, so yeah, we'll sort of see on that one. That's a difficult one to kind of work out. Afternoon, JMP, my friend. How are you? I don't. I think Spurs have by the way, the other thing we need to talk about is the clear out that needs to happen at Spurs, and then I'm going to talk about the parade. I'm coming to the parade, I promise. Spurs got a lot of players out on loan. They need to know what they're doing with Donnelly and Devine and Vuskovic and Phillips, Abbott, Keeley. There's a lot going on. And I think a lot of them will go back on loan, but they'll go up a league, if you know what I mean. Like Abbott should go to a League One side at least. I think Keeley will go back out on loan because I think there's a few options right now on the squad. I think another loan deal, but to a championship side. I mean, by the way, they've got a huge game this weekend, Leyton Orient. So good luck to Leyton Orient this weekend for the League One playoff final to make it into the Championship, which would be amazing for them, by the way. Relegation zone for the first half of the season to be nearly in the Championship, which would be incredible. But I think Keeley probably goes out on loan. Donnelly, I think, has a question mark. I think he could be out onto a Championship loan, but they'll get pre-season. He might wow. And if he wows, it's like something to think about. Divine's an interesting one because he's reaching that age now where you're starting to go, is he going to play for the first team or not? If not, you might be cashing in. Financial fair play, all those things, I guess you could say. Just trying to think. Solomon and Hill are expected to be gone. Højbjerg gets completed officially and financially, benefits us then this coming summer. Valise we'll see, obviously. I know. I don't think there's anyone else on loan that we might sell. No, I think it'll be first teamers that you're going to be cashing in on. I think there's going to be a few in the first team that you might sell. Obviously, Reguilon will be gone, Werner will be gone, Forster will be gone. There might be a couple of first teamers you might cash in on as well. And there's an opportunity for Spurs to raise some good money, They save a lot of money on the wages side of things. You think Werner's on 165 a week. You're saving that every week going forward now. It's 330 so 660 a month. Jesus wept. 660 a month. 7.3 mil a year, whatever it is. That is Timo, what a contract. Do you know what, Timo? Fair, mate. Fair play. But you're saving that. You're saving Reguilon. You save Forster. You save, look, you're going to move off one of two first teamers for sure. That's normal and common. Cash in on them. Send some more players out on loan. You can make some good money out of this summer. You really can. And like Polly says, champions attract champions, Spurs, Spurs not Spurs anymore. It's not. So look, we'll sort of see on the summer. Let's talk the parade because this is it's gonna be good stuff. Right, hang on, let me bring it up because Tottenham Hotspur put it on their Twitter page. I'm pretty sure. Yes. So just bring up the website, bring up the article. So here we go. The club is delighted to announce for an open top bus victory parade on Friday the 23rd, so tomorrow. The time and date have been agreed following close consultation between the club, its football operations, Haringey and Enfield councils, emergency service, transport partners, all that stuff. The parade is expected to depart Edmonton Green at approximately 5:30 p.m. The route follow below. It will go the Broadway or 4th Street, southbound, the High Road southbound past the stadium, Lansdowne Road eastbound, Willoughby Lane northbound, Northumberland Park westbound. Okay. I will put the link to the article in the chat. Here you go. If you want to just get the idea yourself of where it's going, it will be there. I will also put it in the Discord. So if you're in the Discord, it will be in there as well for you all to have a look at. Obviously, it's free to join the Discord. If you'd like to join the Discord, you're more than welcome to. Here's the link for it. You lovely people. You're always more than welcome to join us. Watch out for Jazz. Just watch out for Jazz is all I'm saying, right? So yes, that was the first part of the article. I'm still on it, by the way, if you are reading. It's expected to last anywhere between 60 to 90 minutes, so an hour, hour and a half, finishing in the stadium's service yard adjacent to the Sainsbury's on Northumberland Park. There'll be a stage area erected above the high road outside the stadium on the Paxton Terrace. Um, Ahead of this, we'll be keeping fans entertained with a DJ, live music, and Legends Q&A from 3 p.m. Um, they expect the high road area outside the stadium with a view of the stage to be extremely busy and full to capacity early. We encourage spectators to spread out along the parade route. There'll be a live stream on the club's website, app, and YouTube channel no matter what. And there's more stuff about the shutting off of roads and what it means. So yeah, okay, there you get the idea. You get the idea for tomorrow. Nah, Sonia, honestly, don't risk health for going to this. Kick back, stick it on, and watch. I might try and go live on my Instagram, Inside Spurs Instagram. The handle is in down below, or even Twitter. I might line them up and go live so you can see it from where I am. I would love to speak to some Spurs fans tomorrow. Like, I don't know if any of you are going to be there tomorrow. Like I said, it's an evening, sort of late afternoon, early evening, sort of kickoff time. Um, if you guys, if you guys are going to be there, by all means, give us a shout, message me, whatever it might be. I'd love to speak to you all. I don't know if I'll be doing a video tomorrow. It might be a lunchtime video potentially. I don't know if I did a video. It'd have to be really early because I've got to be somewhere in the late morning. Um, but yeah, if you guys are going, I'd love to see you. I'd love to meet. I'd love to have a beer with you, chat about this bloody football club that we somehow love, and it's finally given us some love back. And so, yeah, I'll be at the parade tomorrow. I'll look forward, hopefully, to seeing, any one of you. It'd be great to see you. I know it's not for everyone. It's just basically an opportunity for afternoon drinks in the sun, really, isn't it? To be honest. Yes. I still think that Ange to stay, major investment in both things crucial. A real threat like Rafinha, not another Tell or Odebear. Wish could be there for the parade just to see the smile on the players for his face. Yeah, honestly, I I can't wait. Those players deserve it, and I'll be there. I'll be there, showering them in love. Share them in love. If you see a camera wave, because I'll probably watch the parade stream. Well, like I said, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. I'll try and go live. So, when the parade's coming near me, you can see it from my angle and things like that. All right. You all should see my sell list. It's like a crazy Steve Spurs manifesto. Don't trust Steve. Don't trust Steve. He's a dangerous person. Yeah, we'll see about the incoming side of things. But yeah, I look forward to the parade tomorrow. It'd have been the first one I've ever been to. So I'm going to enjoy it. Beers in hand, if you know what I mean. And hey, if one of those players go, that beer is getting launched to that hand. Have a bit of that, you absolute beautiful human being. It's when Romero goes, shut. Yeah, you know. Well, throw them two, crack them both, and Stone Cold Steve Austin them. Not just the players. Absolutely. Look, if Ange goes to me, Schooner, I will throw that beer at him and go, have a bit of that, you beautiful son of a gun. I'm in North Devon. Absolutely. That's fine. Look, not everyone is nearby or in train journey distance. Not a problem. Kick back, watch it live. I've always said about people that live on the side of the world, like Steve, for example, lives on the other side of the world. DJ, other side of the world. There's so many of you, by the way. I'm not going to name you all because I'll be here all day. There's so many people on the other side of the world. There's steampunks in South Africa, for example, right? Eve, he's in St. Lucia. Yeah, all over the place. We've got people watching me, right? Not just all Spurs fans, watching me from all over the world. There are more and more Spurs fans all over the world who wake up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to watch Tottenham lose at times, but also win For those people, just watching a live stream is just as awesome. Trust me. And the players will know that. What time's parade? At 5:30 roughly. 5:30 roughly kickoff. It's not guaranteed just yet, but that's the idea. The ballpark number. It will be then, all right? Apparently, Ruben Amorim has been left stunned by the scale of the challenge. Mate, you are in for a ride. That's all right. Adyeri Kangumba. What a name that is. What a name that is. I've lived in North London my whole life and I'll be in Scotland for the parade. Bloody typical. Bloody typical, Callum. How dare you? Well, Lewis Campos is staying at PSG. Well, Callum, I'll raise a beer to the boys in your honour. How about that? Yes. Look, if you are there, please let me know. I look forward to it. I might see if I might not be able to go live. I might see if I can release a video for the Brighton preview because we play Sunday, by the way. I don't know if anyone's shocked by that news. We play Sunday. So I might put out a little preview for 8 to 10 minutes for the game tomorrow. I might record it today, release it tomorrow. It might be at like 9 a.m. So if it is, apologies, but I've got to be somewhere for 11 and that requires me to travel somewhere for it. So yeah, you understand. I know you do. Had to wait till I left London for uni to get a bus parade. Baz, mate. I know. Typical. And because you're at uni, you're a broke student. But look, we'll see. But look, thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. Please go and enjoy the rest of your afternoons. You European trophy winning Spurs fans. Enjoy the rest of your afternoons. Enjoy the mornings, your afternoons, your evenings, your night times, wherever you are in the world. Please enjoy yourself. Look after yourselves. And I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Talk a lot more about Tottenham. Take care, everyone. Peace.